This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Friday, August 23rd of 2024. We're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talk with Mitchell Hoyer. He is the Iowa 4-H State Program Director, and we talk about the newer building at the Iowa State Fair. Of course, it's been there for about 4 years now. The renovated 4-H building and the benefits it provides for the 4-H members, as well as why they should consider being in 4-H or showing new project areas if they haven't already. But as for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the closing markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're here with Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net. Curt, what do we see going on in the grain markets today to end off this week?
Well, the corn market struggled. It closed down 2.5 cents on the day. The beans were up 11.25. The wheat was down about 7.5 cents. So kind of a mixed bag. But the bean oil saved the day. It was well supported from the word go. Part of that might have been with the crude oil. It was up almost $2 a barrel. So we saw some technical buying there as bean oil kept making some higher highs here and generating some technical buying interest. Buying bean oil, selling meal. The funds bought about 3,600 contracts of bean oil, sold about 3,100 contracts of meal. On the other commodities, they sold about 2,000 wheat, 3,200 contracts of corn, about 2,900 contracts of beans going into midday. Beans also found support from another sale of 120,000 tons. So we saw sales just about every day this week, and it wasn't a huge amount. But for the week, we were well over 1 million metric tons. So next Thursday's weekly export sales report ought to show another good round of sales, in our opinion. We are seeing some dry, warm weather coming at us here. They talking flash drought. That's kind of a new word, flash drought. Usually a flash flood, but flash drought, particularly in that Delta region. It comes up into southern Illinois, but we're starting to see a little dry concerns in some of these areas that's been missing the rain. Crop conditions reports probably going to show maybe a little bit of deterioration. But you got to remember, we're in the time window in here where we start to see the crop shut down and mature in some areas. Some other things to keep an eye on, getting some reports where it's a little bit wet, white mold and sudden death is starting to show up pretty good. So there's a few things out there to continue to watch. Harvest activity starting to pick up. It's moved into old portions of Missouri and southern Illinois, but most of it will take place here as we get past the Labor Day weekend. Overall, we're just kind of dealing with more supply than demand at the moment here. The Pro Farmer Crop Tour yesterday went through Iowa. They put the corn yield 192.7 versus 182.8. 10 bushels above a year ago. Pod counts were higher. But then in Minnesota, 164.9 versus 181.4 last year. So there was a pretty good drop in Minnesota corn. So we'll see if the government follows through and lowers that. But the bean pod counts were higher than a year ago. Like I said, we still have some time yet to finish off this crop. We're looking at, test weights and kernel fill and so forth. But the bottom line is we're going to have a fairly good crop to work with here as we move forward. But the Pro Farmer Crop Tour, they're supposed to have their final numbers out here Friday afternoon at 2:00. And we just kind of use that as a benchmark and comparison to work with. It's been kind of neat to watch this stuff on social media, what they viewed here this week out in the field.
All right, Curt. And then on the other side of the marketplace in the livestock complex, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
Yeah, we saw lower grain prices put some smiles on some of these livestock producers here. Lower input costs, but we need to make sure this demand stays strong as we continue to move forward. October cattle finished down 15 today, but they were down 260 for the week. The cattle chart's taking a stair step down, so there's kind of some downside price risk. Feeder index was down this week, but box beef cutout was actually kind of stable. This afternoon, we'll see the cattle and feed report. On feed estimates are expected to be at 100% of a year ago. Placements 103.2%, and the marketing is 108.1. So those numbers will be out, and they'll give us some price direction for 30 seconds there on Monday, of course. Hog futures, October hogs finished up over 90 cents here today. October hogs were up almost 550 for the week. The hogs October cleared the 78.70 area here, resistance level, and picked up some momentum buying. Of course, naturally, we saw buying the hogs and selling the cattle on the spread. Cutouts, loin stayed at 96 here for the most part. The hams dropped down to 88 cents versus 94 about a week ago, and bellies pulled back to 128 versus 141. So a little pullback. I guess we're running out of tomatoes for the bacon-less tomato season. Kills should start to pick up in through here. We start to see a seasonal increase as we move forward in here. And keep an eye on the exports on the hogs. They've been kind of sloppy in through here. We're not seeing those strong numbers that we saw here last spring.
All right, Curt, lots of great information today for those of our viewers who would like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net. How can they do that?
Agmarket.net, go to Intel, click on that. I'm here in Central Illinois, 1-800-779-1515. As we visited earlier, we've got the progress show going on. We have a display there, so stop by and shake their hand.
All right, Curt, great analysis as always, and we look forward to talking with you again soon.
Very good. Take care.
That again was Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers closed through the market window at iowaagnet.com. At the close, September corn down 3 3/4 at 367 3/4. September soybeans up 10 3/4 at 952 even. September soybean meal down 10 cents at 306.30. Soybean oil up 103 at 41.47. Chicago wheat down 8 3/4 at 502 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat down 16.5 at 551 3/4. Kansas City hard red wheat down 9 1/4 at 520 even. September oats up 3 3/4 at 325 even. On the Merc, October live cattle down 20 cents at 175.70. September feeders up 37 at 238.57. October lean hogs up 92 cents at 80.55. Pork cutout went unchanged at 90.92. In September class 3 milk down 22 cents at 21.76. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with Iowa 4-H State Program Leader Mitch Hoyer. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. I had the chance to catch up with Mitch Hoyer. He is the Iowa 4-H State Program Leader and Director. We had a chance to visit about the 4-H building. Still feels very new at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, but it's actually been around for 4 years now. Very useful for the exhibitors that show there, and also does a great job of displaying the projects and talents of the 4-H students across the state. The 4th year of usage of this new 4-H building, but yes, you wouldn't really be able to tell from the outside because it still looks much the same. So, Mitchell, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us today, and very proud of all of the 4-H exhibits here on display, right?
Oh, absolutely. And as our state program leader for the 4-H program in Iowa. The Iowa State Fair is just a wonderful celebration of the hard work that our 20,000 4-H members and 8,000 Clover Kid members and 130,000 other youth that we reach through other delivery methods throughout the year. This is really what we consider our premier showcase event. Very grateful to the Iowa State Fair Board for the renovations, the updates to the building. Just a wonderful space for us.
And I think there are cool projects every year, but this year in particular, especially out front, I think there's some really neat ones. There's a welded T-Rex, there's a big old Ferris wheel that's a flower planter, but having those things on display, including the projects inside here, not only are you encouraging other 4-H members to maybe consider that kind of project, but maybe there's kids coming through here haven't thought about 4-H, but they want to do that kind of project, right?
Well, and I think that's one of the neat things about the things that we have both in and outside the building, as you mentioned, is one of the real purposes that we have here is to showcase the entire scope of our 4-H program. So young people may say, I didn't know you could restore a tractor in 4-H, or they may say that one I could do, but I didn't know I could do a welding sculpture, or I didn't know I could build a park bench, or I didn't know I could bring my prosthetic hand, who I'm told the young man has 3 patents pending and is up to version 8 or 9 of this thing, 9th grader, built with off-the-rack parts and 3D printed materials. I mean, it's just amazing what our young people get into. And I think about the posters behind us, which are one of our special classes. It's called a $20 meal challenge. The thing is, if you only had a $20 bill in your pocket, how do you go to the grocery store and purchase the ingredients to feed a family of 4 a balanced meal? So we're really trying to challenge our 4-H members, yet have them express their creativity throughout the building as well.
And what a great space for that, whether it's the projects, the working exhibits, we've got other talent displays here as well. This new building, this 4th year of being able to use this, a great facility for that. The great old building was great. This new one even better, and like we were saying before, just the enhanced space that we have here now is just really great to facilitate all of these different things.
Well, it is, and you mentioned the presentations and communication kind of events. The addition to the building gave us really classroom-style rooms for those young people to share those experiences. And, developing outstanding communicators is one of the things that we're really hoping, those skills that we develop in all of our 4-H members. And so they come down here, they talk about a topic of their choice, or if it's a working exhibit, they're teaching us how to do something, or if they're on stage and, show's going to be starting in a few minutes, share the fun, they're sharing their talents with us. And we believe it's important to give young people those kinds of opportunities at the State Fair as well.
And with this building being air conditioned as well, a big attraction for people just looking to beat the heat. We've had good weather so far, but I would bet on that first Saturday of the fair when we had record-breaking attendance, it was probably pretty bustling.
It has been, yes, and it will be today on this Friday of the fair. It's warming up outside. Air conditioning is always an attraction. We also tend to hear a lot that we have the best restrooms on the ground. So, for some people, that's kind of important as well. I've been exceptionally pleased with the traffic through the building this year. And yes, large crowds in the fair is general, which is wonderful to see. But even yesterday, the second Thursday of the fair is often one of our slower days. And that's often reflected in here. I don't know what the attendance numbers were yesterday on the grounds as a whole. I thought we had really good visiting traffic through the building, and that's always great to see, because I have some of my Iowa State staff down here, 4-H staff, but we have a lot of young people that work with us either through the whole fair or at least for 2 or 3 days. Many of them are part of our State 4-H Youth Council, so it really gives them a customer service experience in terms of interacting with all the visitors to the building.
So we've already given a pretty good sales pitch for kids to want to enjoy 4-H here at the Iowa State Fair, or just 4-H in general. But if you have one last thing to say to any kids who might be considering getting involved or maybe trying a new thing in 4-H, what do you have to say for them?
I would say join 4-H. Contact your county extension office. The new 4-H program year starts in September 1. We're ready to take new enrollments. And I would say give us a try. That's what I would say. Give us a try. I think young people who are not familiar with us would be surprised at the scope of things we have to offer. We know that 4-H with some families and some people, we're often seen as being, oh, it's that thing for farm kids, it's for agriculture. Yes, that's part of our roots and our heritage, and we are never going to back away from that. And we think there's a lot of space that we can grow in that area. But young people can discover their creative talent, whether it's music or the creative arts, just getting involved in leadership and engagement in the community. There are so many things that young people can do with the 4-H program. And it's really an opportunity for them to learn in conjunction with other young people, in conjunction with adults who have some of those same interests about things that are important to them. Give us a try.
Again, was Mitch Hoyer, Iowa 4-H's State Program Leader and Director. That's all the time we have today for Ag Matters PM. Thanks again for tuning in. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM/PM on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as the Iowa Ag Matters podcast and Pods of Potential, which just recently released its 11th episode. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Andy Peterson, and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.